Alright, Dragon Ball Super fans, on this channel I really haven't done a lot of Dragon Ball videos per se, but after last night's 100th episode of Dragon Ball Super, I couldn't help but, well, talk about the episode. The focus of this video is all going to be about Cabba or Cabba, however you want to pronounce his name. It's the fact that there seems to be a new kind of confidence just brimming from him as a character and as a fighter. I mean, when he approached Vegeta out of the smoke calling, saying master, and then knocking out those two guys pretty much instantaneously, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of them were the robots from Universe 3, the kind of like android cyborg dude that was supposed to be built up to be this survival machine. But Cabba, without even looking at these two guys, just easily knocked them out of the ring with one hit. And if there was something, I mean, obviously this episode was more of a homage to Broly, with Kale transforming to Berserk mode. There were a lot of elements of Dragon Ball Z movies in this episode, and one of them being this scene where it reminded me of when Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was approaching Bojack, and Bujin and Beto, if I'm not mistaken, are the names, tried to rush him, but they easily got, killed with one hit each. So it really reminded me of that. Then he literally confronts Vegeta saying it's time for you to drop out, and I'm just like, what the heck? He goes Super Saiyan and the two start fighting off screen. We see them engaging briefly, well, in the middle of their exchange, right when Kale went berserk, and everybody's reacting to the transformation. Now, the question that I want to raise in this video is, do you think Cabba has a new power or a new form? Because we know that Vegeta was still having a hard time against Botamagetta, basically Motamo on top of Vegeta. I mean, when I saw it last week, I thought about, like Power Ranger Megazords, how the Zords come together. It's pretty much Botamo covering Vegeta's ears so he doesn't hear insults so he can fight Vegeta. And Super Saiyan 1 Vegeta's having a tough time. Then here comes Cabba out of nowhere. And when he literally confronts Vegeta, I'm thinking to myself, okay, either Cabba has this new power we don't know about. Because if you remember correctly, back during the Universe 6-7 tournament when Vegeta taught Cabba how to go Super Saiyan 1, he pretty much was enraged, kind of like Kale, and attacked Vegeta relentlessly, and Vegeta was on the receiving end of some powerful hits, but at the end of the day, they didn't suffer much damage, and that was evident by Cabba punching him square in the forehead, but it did nothing. Vegeta was smiling. Then in order to, really show Cabba what's left for him to, well, what he can accomplish and achieve with more training, Super Saiyan Blue, and then he one-shot at Cabba in the gut. Now, Vegeta even said, remember this pain. So Cabba confidently approaching Vegeta and engage him in combat, kind of hints to maybe he has some kind of new transformation or power we don't know about, because, I do try to keep up with spoilers. Some people don't, I know that. So I'm just saying that in none of the spoiler material, I don't believe we've gotten one mention of Cabba at all. It's all been about Caulifla and Kale. So it's been no nod to him having a new transformation or a new power. So the fact that he has this new confidence in himself, could that allude to him having some kind of power we don't know about? Because remember, I mean, you can either think of it as two ways. Number one, he just wants to prove himself to Vegeta. I mean, that's it. Even if he does have a new form, he wants to prove like, hey, master, I've gotten stronger. I want to fight you and I'll defeat you. Or he has the power to back it up, because really, you should know by now, you really can't, I mean, anybody who's watched the series is, you really can't talk shit to Vegeta unless you got the strength to back it up. And honestly, that's what Vegeta does for the most part, talking shit, then getting beaten down. But in this case, Cabba, hey, the way he stepped to Vegeta like that, I don't think he would have done that unless he really knew what he was up against. Because remember, this is Super Saiyan 1 Vegeta. He still has 2 as well as Blue to rely on if needed. So that lets me know that Cabba, hey, he should know what he's up against. He saw Vegeta do Blue again during the baseball episode. So I just wanted to do a quick video to get your own thoughts. Do you think Cabba has some kind of new power? Because it looks like he, Kale, and Caulifla did some more training after they, after he taught them how to go Super Saiyan. It doesn't seem like Kale went Super Saiyan Berserk or transform at all after her initial transformation, and Caulifla calmed her down, due to the fact that Caulifla was like, hey, transform her to, cut loose. And then Kale's like, I don't know how to, because it makes it seem like she didn't transform again since her initial transformation, kind of like Caulifla briefly going Super Saiyan 2 to deflect Kale's blast, And then when Goku does the transformation, he's like, oh my gosh, I did that one time, but I haven't been able to do it again since. So I'm thinking if there was some training, hence why Caulifla was probably able to gauge Ultra Super Saiyan, could Cabba possibly have some new transformations we don't know about? I mean, that's the biggest question I want to know. So with that being said, I just want to get your initial thoughts and comments. What did you think of the episode as a whole? And given the fact that, you know, Cabba stepped to Vegeta, does he have some kind of new trick or attack we don't know about?